Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Molinda Jae's channel. I am Molinda Jae, of course, and I'm here to do the Belle Collective review recap of the season finale. And of course, I am going to definitely run through this thing because it was more like a subtle season finale. It wasn't so much of a blow up finale, in my opinion. I guess because they trying to save that for the reunion. Also, because my son's school bus is going to be coming up soon. So let me just go ahead and get this quick thing. Yes, I am late reviewing this because I had a jam-packed weekend to where I was not able to come to the computer like that. Um well, the working computer when it comes to the YouTube channel and stuff like that. But other than that, I'm here and I'm doing the review. So stick around and let's see what I have for you all. Okay, so now we on to the recap. We started off with the Hamilton. We start off with the episode, but we're leaving off from what had happened at the Hamilton Davis luncheon, and that is the luncheon is in regards to Marie and Essie um opening five methadone clinics, five more methadone clinics that adds to their multi-million dollar business. And I am so proud of those ladies. Yes, yes, yes. All about working, helping the community, and that provides more jobs for people. However, what happened at this luncheon from the last time that we left off, or the thing that we left off from, was Tambra leaving the luncheon because Marie had brought in Taisha, which was the event planner for Hamilton Davis. She is like contracted, basically, from what Marie had explained to the ladies, that she is the event planner for Hamilton Davis. So more likely Taisha is contracted with Hamilton Davis as the go-to person to be to hold their events when it comes to the luncheon and any other event that they're having. So in the midst of that, Tambra is yelling her way out, and she's just like, I'm not gonna have that. I love you, sis, but this is not it for me, especially when she's in the room, and I'm not going to give her energy, especially since you brought um Miss Glenda, Raven's mom, into the circle to get acquainted with. I felt like at that point, at that luncheon, that you are holding, since you already have brought on an individual that is still getting over the grieving process, and you want the individual to get acquainted with the ladies and stuff like that, and to see that explosion, even though it's a reality show, right? But just to see that those two dynamics between Tambra and Taisha, Taisha wanting to talk and Tambra not wanting to talk, and yelling across the room like she's not finna be dealing with y'all at this moment. Um, I just felt like at that time, it was not the time there. Even though Marie was talking about she wasn't aware of the full story in regards to how escalated the interaction between Tambra and Taisha when it comes to Greedy. She didn't know the extent of whether they on a cordial or they not on a cordial standpoint. And then, Letitia, she's just like, hey, I didn't even know about her coming. All right. I'm just here for the event. Please don't take it the wrong way, because Akeisha, she was giving the side eye like, girl, not at this event. You are, that's a little blindsidedness. And even though she's look well, even though Akeisha is, keeping everyone at a comfortable distance when it comes to her, and even though her and Tambra are like at a crossroads right now in their friendship, she still has some sort of loyalty to her because she did bring her in the group to get acquainted with the ladies. And she's just Akeisha. She said, "I'm just going to remain loyal, even though we are having those discrepancies in our friendship or whatever case may be. And I'm just going to leave the event because it is basically not the time or the place for that to take place." So that's what I was getting from that. And then and however, we close off with Essie saying, "Well, Marie done ruined another event." And I thought that was a great kiki, great fun shade that was help bring light to a sticky situation, you know. But of course, life goes on. But what I learned from that luncheon there is, of course, accomplishments from what they were celebrating for. But of course, there's a right place and a right time to hold these discussions, and in due time that they gonna have to have that discussion because there's too much. Look, it's too much floating out in the airways right now, or in the atmosphere, stratosphere, when it comes to the timelines of those of him dating both women. Okay, so a conversation does need to happen eventually, but I'm guessing it's going to happen under Tambra's terms, even though she is like over at this point. But a conversation needs to be had because we can't be having sis popping back up and it's still with the same issue. Like, we need to dead that right now. Hopefully that happens at the reunion. I'm just saying. So don't be surprised when she show up at the reunion because Taisha, she has made a couple appearances on the show. Don't be surprised when she show up at the reunion. Now on to Latrice. Um, staying with her brother Derek, and this is the longest time of her and Zaddy, which is Cliff, being away for a week. It usually be 24 hours, but this time it was a week, which of course is eye-opening, but who doesn't go through ups and downs as a couple um in a relationship? However, sometimes it is good to step away from this your situation and see it from a different perspective. Because with her and her brother, she was discussing what had transpired with between her and Cliff in regards to having a baby, and the fear of having a baby, and not wanting to be the woman, the house woman, to be barefoot and pregnant and stuff like that. She still want to um and she still feels like she's in her prime, and she is. I mean, come on now. She still is in her prime when it comes to her business and her career. However, if you still yearning for that family, um far as having children, yes, we can say ladies have babies at every age or whatever case may be. To a certain degree, there is a time biological clock going on when it comes to having children. So as long from my standpoint, as long as she is going to her doctor, and the doctor, or like her gynecologist, as long as she's going to her gynecologist and checking up on the status on her eggs and stuff like that, ballparking what is her biological clock, how long it takes before the eggs are decreased, and stuff like that. As long as she's going to the doctor and she has a good point of view on where she can possibly have children, hey, big ups to her. But you don't but there does needs to be like a sound decision of both of you all coming together. And her brother is right in regards to having conversations, being on the same page, when it comes to life altering situations like that, and to bringing a whole nother human being into the picture, between her and Cliff, because she does have stepchildren already, and they are with age to take care of themselves. However, when it comes to a youngin, that's a different story. So, yes, I agree. So, what I learned from that little segment there is basically just, I'm glad she is able to step away and gather her thoughts. And of course, Cliff, he's going to do the same. However, there needs to be a bigger picture, a bigger perspective, being able to step outside of your relationship, especially because, with them being together like glue, and then you, and the longest y'all have been away from each other is a week. That is a good amount of time to put things into perspective, so y'all can be able to come back and discuss the situation again, and then have some sort of, neutrality when it comes to being, um, compromising and being on the same page when it comes to bringing, um, more little ones into the picture. Okay, so that's what I got from that little segment. On to Akeisha, stakeholder luncheon that was held at the Faulkner. And of course, with this stakeholder luncheon, is basically, people who are showing interest or would like to be interested in investing in the vision with the revitalization of Fair Street, which was, it basically grew after the dissolvement of the plantation, 100-year-old plantation to be exact. So I'm gonna do some more research on Ferris Street, um, in regards to that. But other than that, I support the vision wholeheartedly. I do appreciate the fact that Akeisha brought like the vision, like, the graphics of what it is before and what it is after, because some people, especially like myself, we like visuals. We like to see the vision before the commission happens, turning that vision into the commission. So I do appreciate, the event was fabulous from what I have looked, and out of all things, Letitia's menu card was missing out of the bunch. However, she did say she was going to uh make sure she is well kept for, and handled accordingly. And she did bring up the plate. I'm like, no, no, not the plate again. We don't need the plate. We don't need the plate. Okay. But other than that, the luncheon was beautiful. I love the effect of having, calling her hostess, sunflower girls, because I love sunflowers. I thought that was pretty. The decor was on point. Her, um just pitching the vision to all the potential investors, which she started with women first. So she put women first in regards to who's going to invest in the vision, to make it a commission and bring, the mission into, um, you know, revitalizing that street, making to how it was, but better. So I do appreciate with her on that. As long as she gives it, as much as Akeisha does have direct value in regards to property, um, and and generational wealth on that street, as long as she gives credit to the person who actually put it out in the, airways, Letitia, as long as she give credit, which she is, to, the person who put it out in the airways, in regards to the revitalization, I'm all for it. Um, so yeah, that's what I learned from that segment, was women coming together and making the vision into commission for the mission. All right, that's a t-shirt. Okay, that's a t-shirt, and I'm gonna put it on there. Um, however, give credit where credit was due. because we don't know that you wanted to revitalize the strip before Letitia brought it on before our eyes from last season. However, again, let's collaborate so we can make it happen, so we can bring it into fruition. Um, but basically, even though Letitia, even though Letitia had the vision, Akeisha has the direct access. All right, she has the direct access to where she can make some things happen. Not saying that Letitia didn't make things happen, because she did all she could, and she got the nose here, there, and everywhere. Probably got little maybes, but of course, when it comes to a revitalization like that, it's it's good to have more people on board. That way, when people start to show more interest, it's not just you. Because again, whenever you're bringing a vision to life, you got to believe it enough to convince people that, hey, if you want to get in this now, you're going to have to believe in what I am bringing forth to you so we can make this happen. All right. So that's what I got from that segment, from the lunch holder, the stakeholder luncheon. Letitia. Oh, before I move on, I do like the fact that she bought what at La- Akeisha. I do like the fact that she had everybody's business at a location. The Goddess Links, the Hamilton Davis, the Letitia Enterprise. I do like that effect because that gives again, that provides the bigger picture. That's that's the virtual vision board, right? So that's what I had to. I can go on and on about that stakeholders luncheon because that was bomb. Okay. Um, on to Letitia and Marie and Etsy going to find Marie's mom that went missing. And what I got from this segment here is they were speaking about how the elders used to, as they was driving through the neighborhood, right? As you can see, the houses are dilapidated. They're some of them were up kept, some of their landscape was good, but most of them weren't. um and it just looked desolate. And I know because I grew up with that, in that type of environment, to where some houses were upkept and other houses were not. So and it could happen with one or two houses, or it could be a whole strip and this side be desolate, or vice versa. So I do like the fact that that they explain, even though their parents and their grandparents didn't have much back then, they still kept their house. The upkeeping of their house was still on point, because again, that brings value to the neighborhood, as well as it is bringing value to people. Well, it makes the place less scary. It makes the scenery less scary for people to, if they were doing door to door and stuff like that. um but she did eventually find her, and she was at the trap house, unfortunately. And she was trying to get it to where Marie, she was trying to get her mother to where she comes back with her. But sometimes when you are so far and you relapse and back in those addictions, is you gotta allow the person to come back out again. Because if you're forcing their hand, trying to if you're forcing that person's hand to get out of a situation, especially if they don't want to at that time, it's just like trying to change a person. You can't change the person. You have to allow that person to want to change for the betterment of themselves. So I do like the fact that Marie had mentioned, as a licensed professional, she is going to seek therapy as well. to be able to put balance back into her life. And I thought that was beautiful of her to say, because even licensed professionals need therapists as well, just as much as they service others in their practice and their wisdom as well, providing guidance and mentoring to get over and through a situation. They need therapy as well. So I thought that was beautiful on that end. And also, addiction is one hell of a drug, because it's hard to walk away from, especially when it's in close proximity, and you get those urges, especially when you go turkey. I never been in that addiction mode, and I don't want to, because I do have family members that experience addiction, and it's really not a pretty sight, especially when you've seen the after effects after they have went back and relapsed. Yeah, it's not pretty. I didn't. It's not pretty at all. So I'm just going to continue to send Marie and her family and her mother love and healing and support. And of course, when it comes to people that have those addiction, and you try to do the best that you can, another segue that Marie had put in is, and she discussed this with her brother as well, is that she's gonna have to establish those healthy boundaries again, because she can't save her. Nobody can save her unless the mama wants to save herself truly. So again, I'm just going to send love and protective healing energy out to Marie and her family, and especially her mother. All right, so on to Latrice and Zaddy Cliff. All right. What came from this scene was Cliff had accidentally cut himself at work, and Ladrice came to his rescue in his time of need, because they were still separated at that time, just to cool off, gather their thoughts, whatever the case may be. And what I like about these two is that they discuss their communication differences in regards to, Latrice is like, even though sometimes have that me effect, that I effect, she still wants to be sure that she maintains her self-worth and her individuality in the relationship, and that is important, everybody. That is very important, that you still remain as your authentic self in a relationship, um because when you begin to merge yourself into somebody and you start losing yourself in the process, you're and if an unforeseen circumstance happen in the midst of that, and you're left with nothing, you're back at square one again. So I do like the fact, and it that they discuss the communication difference among each other. It especially when they have the year gap within between their ages, but that's here and there, and here or there. But when it comes to Latrice discussing this, she says Cliff raises his voice like he is her father, which triggers her to be like, "You're yelling at me as if I'm your daughter, and I'm not your daughter. I'm your wife. I'm your equal partner, right?" And it's important, and what Latrice was saying then, it's important for you to be able to but Cliff at the same time, he said, I'm just talking, I'm not raising my voice, or whatever case might be. And I think the only time he raised his voice on camera is when they was on that dinner date last season. But this season, I mean, it wasn't too much yelling when they was discussing the baby issue in the bed and how she missed her period. um I didn't see, unless I didn't catch it. Comment down below if y'all caught that, if he was yelling at her at the time. It may have been off camera. That's what I'm getting. It may have been off camera, because I didn't see it um on the as we were viewing the show. as we were reviewing the episode between this one and last week episode. So comment down below if y'all caught um any segments where Cliff was raising his voice at her. But that was what she had brought his attention to. Um and he's just like, "Hey, okay, I hear what you got to say, but you annoy me sometimes, but I still love you." But again, it's important to maintain that individuality between both people in a relationship, because y'all, even though y'all are together as one, y'all are still two separate individuals. um and then also Latrice takes a pregnancy test which came out negative, and which she was glad about it because she felt like it wasn't time. And then Cliff, he was disappointed because he felt like it was time. So again, that is something that they discuss, and like I said, what I like about them, they don't mind discussing the issue. Even if they do get angry, they still go in other rooms, or one leaves the house um and gather their thoughts, and they come back together. Simple as that. And also, if y'all had caught it, he said if you need time off to, go on a vacation, whatever, I'm still gonna be right here. I'm gonna let you go, and then we're gonna resume. We're gonna talk it out, and we're gonna resume back as usual. So again, hello is the what I got from this segment between these two, not only to maintain your individuality within the relationship, but also have those difficult conversations, to where it don't escalate, and again reestablish and um, reassure the boundaries that you are willing and not willing to take, and cherish the moment, because that could have been uglier in the case of him accidentally cutting himself at work with the chainsaw. I believe it was a chainsaw because he said he was cutting trees, but it just cut to where it's, and she said it was close to white meat, but again, worst case scenario, he could have cut his whole hand off. So yes, I agree, Cliff. Cherish the moments because you just never know. And that's why he's just so adamant and like, hey, you, can we do this now? Can we have a baby now? So if something happens, we won't be feeling like, what if I should have, coulda, woulda. But at the same time, you can't force nobody to do anything. You just got to make sure y'all on one accord, to where if it does happen, it won't be so much of a big of a surprise. All right. And then lastly was like the main event with Letitia and Glenn meeting with the counselor. Glenn asking Letitia for marriage counseling, which is good on the flip side. And also, um with this segment here, I'm looking at both of my notes, y'all. They discuss well, Glenn discussed him going to sessions alone, which is good, because you do need to do some inner healing, some discovering of what your triggers and what triggers you, what boundaries are you willing to cross over, or what boundaries do you just don't want to, or want somebody to cross into your space. So I do appreciate that aspect. um and there was within this counseling session, I really enjoyed it, because it brings things into perspective as you are going through counseling. Like, Letitia had recalled saying that she has been mentoring other ladies um, to empower themselves, to have some self a sense of self-worth, and um go, and what she say, y'all? Basically, she is mentoring other ladies between young and old, in regards to knowing their self-worth, knowing their value, and if you want to be the businesswoman that you always want to be, if you want to bring your dreams into fruition and stuff like that, hence that's why she does the brunches, right? um she's doing all that for other women, but she's just now getting into that state where she knows her self-worth. Because again, as I stated before, you know, at some point, in my opinion, it seemed like she lost herself within her marriage to Glenn, because of the fact that, she was being the housewife, she was being the businesswoman, and all those aspects. And again, for the fact of him bringing that contract to her last season, I was really side-eyeing about that, because why would you need a contract from your own wife, especially when she is doing the things that she needs to do, or the things that she's supposed to do as a wife, right? And here you go out here flocking and flowing around with other women, or or flirting with other women, but you asking your own wife for a contract because you feel like she's too busy for you. What? And she's still taking care of the son that y'all have together while you are off working, rightfully so. But again, don't be putting too much on her that she cannot bear, especially when you are capable and able enough to help assist in any house duties, as well as taking care of your son as well. And I'm not even talking about financially, but definitely taking care of the son with his mental and physical and emotional health. You know, so the question that the counselor had asked her was, are you let's see, are you in love with him? Well, the first question he asked her is, do you love him? And she said yeah. And then he went back and he also asked, are you in love with him? Because there is a difference of loving a person. You can always love a person, but when it comes to you being in love with the person, that's a different story. Because that's that deepens the bond of unconditional when you are in love with somebody, right? But she said she don't know, because she's scared to love him again, and rightfully so, because the trust has been broken once you step out of a relationship, a committed one at that. And especially when you made vows to that person, because that's your loyalty to that person when you made those vows to a person. And once you break that trust because of infidelity, that's you're back at square one again. Hmm. You're going to get to know each other again. You're also going to figure out how you can get the person back, and yeah, it's going to take a minute, because not everybody is willing to be with the okey doke and um accept and then let you come back in with flying colors. No, some people, it's gonna take a minute. And it's gonna be, how willing are you to fight for your family? Due to the consequences, due to the decisions that led to your consequences. So again, that goes back to the phrase, the decisions you make determines your destiny, and you need to choose wisely, because those decisions that you make, it can lead to some sort of consequence, especially when it's not done in the light, in the shape or form or fashion that you did especially when it comes to the good aspect of consequences. All right, I hope y'all getting what I'm saying. But definitely the decisions you make has some sort of consequences. Okay, so let's not act like you let's not act like you are um doing this and this and that. You're saying this and that, but the actions are not matching up to what you're saying. When the actions are outweighing the words, of what you're trying to do to get your family back, then of course, yes, that's going to matter more, because you can talk that talk all you want to, but if those actions are not matching up to that talking that you doing, that's a problem. That leads to dishonesty. That leads to your integrity being at stake. You're being dishonest, and your integrity is not it. So hold on, y'all. I'm just trying to ballpark when my son is coming. Um, let's see. Anything else on here? He said, um, when it came to the division, that the counselor had asked, what happened when it, what happened in regards to division? Where did the division, um, come? And he said, Glenn said, it's the division came about when, basically, when he stepped out. And from Glenn's standpoint, he said it was a cry for help when he was not having support, and he couldn't handle his emotions, and that's what caused his depression. So you're using depression as an excuse of your divide because you feel like you ain't had no support? To what aspect? Hmm? Did you express to her about your emotional aspect in having emotional support? Make it make sense for me. Because what, in my opinion, right, the division came in is when you stepped out, and you saw, and you speak, from my understanding, you sought out an emotional, another emotional connection with somebody. Hello? Because you didn't have that emotional support at home. That was you said. Now, not having support and couldn't handle his emotions. So you went out to somebody who had the emotion, who could satisfy that emotional support at the time, instead of going to a therapist or counselor until after the damage has been done. Okay. So again, if you feel, and again, I applaud him for going to the counseling sessions by himself, because since he did not have a father figure growing up, which he stated that a couple episodes back, since he did not have a father figure growing up, um again, he was, to a certain degree, he was not taught on how to handle his emotions in a healthy way, so he can still be able to maintain his individuality within a relationship. So overall, I just hope he continues to go through with counseling sessions by himself, because again, Letitia, she's a good woman. From what I'm saying, in my opinion, she's a good woman. From what we see on the television, she's a good woman. She is going to support you no matter what. But if you keep playing these games and seeking emotional support, other in other areas other than your wife and in the household, of course the trust is gonna be broken there. So what I learned from that segment is that counseling is important. You're gonna learn how to find yourself. You're gonna discover things about yourself as well as your partner. And however, it's up to you as an individual to again figure out what you want to do and how much you are willing to handle and bear. And then, of course, as a unit aspect, right, it's up to both of y'all as partners, as life partners, as husband and wife. Um, if you still want to continue on with the union, with the marriage, Again, y'all both have to work together into doing that. Of course, one is gonna have to work more than the other because that party has broken the trust, right? But again, that's just basically taking things on a daily on a day by day basis. And from my understanding, from the end credits, uh, the Letitia to move back in, right? And he's back at it doing the same thing. So again, again, in due time, he's gonna have to want the family back. He's gonna have to want his family back to the highest power, because ain't no way you gonna continue with the doing the same old things. And I get it. I get it. I've been in Letitia's shoes, not in the marital aspect, but definitely in a committed relationship aspect. And there's only so much that you can bear, and it if it's just too much for you, it's just time to again just pack up and leave again, and start square one or square 10. Pick up where you left off at. Continue with your self-love, self-care, and self-discovery journey, Letitia. Right, girl? Continue on with that. Pick up where you left off. And yeah, that pick up where you left off. Continue to take care of your kid, little Joshua, right? And whenever he figure out what he want to do, then and put some action into it, then we making something happen. As Nene would say, you done lost your mind, and whenever you find it, you call me, and that's the end of that. All right. So yeah, that concludes this recap. Again, like I said, this episode, it was a subtle season finale. Not too much blow ups and shakeups and stuff like that. So hopefully they get the camera back rolling for season 3 for Bell Collective, because it feels like we've been waiting too long for Bell Collective to come out. But I'm glad it came back, because I love these women. Okay. And I don't even think, um so Gucci, she had the billboard reveal at the end. So that was a little snippet from her. Congratulations to her on her ring in the real estate sector in Mississippi. So shouts out to So Gucci with that. But yeah, that's the end of the recap, you guys. There will be the reunion this upcoming Friday, so I will do reviews on that, and I'm pretty sure that's gonna be an explosion for itself. But yes, this video is going longer than expected, but I thank you all for tuning in to the review. Please leave a comment down below on your thoughts and opinions about the episode, as well as this review, and some pointers I may have missed that you would like to discuss, so we can keep the conversation going. All my social media links will be in the description below, or you just scan that little cue card at the end of the video, um, so you can figure out which social media platforms you want to follow me from. And don't forget to share the video so we can all each one teach one. Like the video as well, and subscribe to the YouTube channel, and don't forget to hit that notification bell and press all, so you know the next time I upload a video. And always remember to love thyself, know thyself, soothe thyself, so you can heal thyself. Excuse me. And I'll see you guys in the next video. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.